if you don't, I mean, the probability just drops off exponentially of anyone following up, pulling something off an NTAG website day after day after day of the event. So, it's one of these bits of self-knowledge that we never seem to learn about ourselves. And I know I'm as bad about it as anyone else. But like you think, you get home, you're kind of jazzed, you met this person, you want to follow up, and you don't. And then the next day, there's 6,000 other things. And if you don't do it within the realize hours after coming home, just realize it is not going to happen. It only gets harder and harder. It gets much harder to reconnect with the person. So it has to, what you said about you go home and you do something, it has to be that way or forget it.
So everything goes into my database right away. I have my A list, my B list are the people who I like to have a cup of coffee with. I enjoyed that conversation, would like to get to know them a little bit more. And my C list is what I call whenever, if ever. And everybody goes on to, I have a newsletter that goes out every so often with information. I did a teleclass yesterday on LinkedIn, the best practices. I had an expert on LinkedIn. We had a great conversation with about 100 people on the phone about best practices. What if you want to disconnect because you don't like somebody, or what if someone wants to use your name and it's not appropriate. It was a terrific thing, and so a lot of people who are on my whenever list get those emails on occasions, and then later on they'll say, hey, I'd like to have some information. So I try and have a way of systematically following up with people, touching base. It's kind of a random, once every month, 6 weeks, I have a thing called How to Remember Names, so I send that out after I meet people. I have the PDF of this chart, how to work a room. So find different ways for you, and you can use other people's material. I mean, I'm happy to have you share that with somebody, and here's an excuse. A legitimate way for you to kind of begin. I know you talked about going to events all the time. It's tedious. There's that part of it. Do you want to talk about the NTAG follow-up? What will happen next when they?
Yeah, well, I think I already said it. You'll get for the cards you exchange, you get a list, which is convenient, and that's kind of the thing we try and do. But the onus, as I said before, and I'll say it again, is just totally on you. I can't tell you the number of good conversations where I think, I'm definitely going to do something about that, and I have a clear idea of what to do, but it doesn't happen because just too long goes by, even just a day, and then suddenly it feels a little awkward, and it gets more awkward, and it never stops. So jump on it when you see someone, and also take advantage of the opportunity to write something on the note, because there's also that whole thing of getting back and having a stack of names and then trying to sift in your head who was who.
Little networking cheat sheet that you'll have of some networking hints for you and some things that you can use to do some networking follow-up. So thank you so much. I think we're winding down here. Thank you.
Thank you, Diane and Rick, for joining us. A couple of announcements. If you are interested in knowing more about the Alumni Leadership Series, please see myself or Rebecca. I think you have about 10 minutes. If you are continuing with the program today, the next event is in Kresge in about 10 minutes for the keynote. And I also think that there's some feedback forms, either I think on your little NTAG things, some feedback for the session. So we'd really be interested in hearing what you thought of the sessions.
Yeah, flip under, let's see, under surveys is where that would be. Oh, very good. On the top of mine, I have networking in the real world session survey, and then below that is networking from small talk to big impact. Are we one of those?
We're networking in the real world.
Perfect. So that's the top one, and there's just looks like just a couple questions on there, 3 of them, which is always how we do it. And we pay, I'm sure everyone at this event, we pay very careful attention to feedback. So please do that. And the last one, it says comment. You can use your pick, have a little fun, key in a little something that says exactly what you thought. And as I say, we pay very, it's all anonymized, but we pay very careful attention. Oh, that buzzing you hear is probably because we all got a message. Yeah, dismiss. Innovation session. Lisa Sue is speaking about innovation in Kresge Auditorium in 5 minutes.
Absolutely no right. Thank you so much. I'm happy to stand up here and answer any questions.
So you are going to make this smaller, right?
Oh, yeah, it's a lot smaller than the last one.
Is it? But you still got a